Thank you for staying tuned. It's World Television Day. I'm Daisy Obaisamo, and it's time for you to meet my guest. I have a veteran journalist, a former commissioner, former SA to the governor. At some point, this man his portfolio is huge. So I'm talking about Omojo. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
For the first time on the show.
Yeah.
And definitely not the first time on TV, I mean. Okay, as at 1990, he was already manager of a magazine. As at 1987, he was already into journalism. He's been former commissioner for oil and gas, special advisor on arts and culture, commissioner for transport, and so many other things. They started the Midwest Times, the Midwest Herald, and so many other print, and he's been on television, he's been on radio, he's been on magazines. So he's a veteran journalist, and together we're going to be talking about World Television Day. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, now, the United Nations, in fact, I think every year they seem to come up with a new international day for something. We have a day for media, telecommunications, World Press Day. Why World Television Day? I mean, what's so special about this day?
Well, for want of not wanting to sound trivia, I would say the nomenclatures that we give to the celebrations this day may not amount to anything, especially in our climb here, where everything we pursue end up in as if the adventures that we're not supposed to be taking in the first instance. Well, I think it's a reminder by the United Nations to put us on notice that the television is very vital to the civil society, to the administration of our world, and of any government or in the governance of the different states of the world. That's basically why we have to re-echo. We have to re-echo the nuances, the importance of these instruments, like the TV, like the radio, like the print. Yeah.
Okay, now, most of the media houses in Nigeria right now, they have this slogan, we give you unbiased reportage, and we cover everywhere and all of those, especially that unbiased reportage. But how do you see broadcasting in Nigeria at this time?
First and foremost, I am a product of investigative journalism. If you can't provide a society that role, the watchdog, as it were, there's no reason, there's no need for you being a TV house, a radio house, or a print media. I think recently, the TV houses, the radio, and the print, we have become infested by what I would call self-censorship. I want to draw an analogy, using it as an example. We know the battle, the breakbacks between the CNN and Trump administration and his White House. Just recently, Jim Acosta, the White House correspondent for CNN, was walked out of a press conference. Why? Jim Acosta asked
a question,
a double-barrel question. And the rule by Mr. Trump is that you ask one question at a time and wait for your time. But because CNN know already that there is a battle, the battle line has been drawn between the TV house and the White House. Under Trump, they have trained their correspondent to use the opportunity given, which is very rare. CNN correspondents will normally raise up their hands for 5-6 times. Trump would prefer to call somebody from, other, ABC or whatever channel. So they told you, so once you have the opportunity to ask Trump questions,
just ask it all.
Make it 2-3. And Trump got irritated and asked them to withdraw the press badge. What happened? Trump thought, okay, let me say, if Trump was a Nigerian president, the reporter will receive a query from the owner of the station.
Sure.
You know what happened? CNN dragged Trump and the White House and the press unit to the district court. The district court was headed by Judge Timothy. George Timothy was appointed by Trump when he came in. And George Timothy said it is wrong. The Fifth Amendment of Jim Acosta has been offended. The provisions of the U.S. Constitution that expect a journalist, a broadcaster, to be the sole defender of the public has been offended, and ordered Trump and the White House to restate Jim Acosta as CNN, White House correspondent. Trump bought a face-saving device, issued a recall for Jim Acosta, but Sanders, the chief press information officer, came up with the rules of engagement. That from now on, no media man, no correspondent will have the opportunity of asking double barrel or three barrel or four barrel questions. But the press council have said, bring it on. First, we have achieved our, and don't forget, when Jim Acosta was sent out, several media houses, they followed suit and boycotted the press conference of the White House. Now they say the new rule is coming out. Fine, bring it out. We'll challenge it in court. Back to your question. The TV houses, the radio houses in Nigeria, especially in the past 3 years, they have become infested by what I call the self-censorship. They have become overprotective of their license. They are scared the NBC with their license. They are scared of this. Where is the place of the court? NBC is not Lord unto itself. It's a public institution. They are there to serve us. They are there to serve the media. They have a press unit. If you come up and said, and you think it's a disservice to the broadcasting, whatever the code they have, those codes are not cast in iron or stone or rock. They can be challenged. So I think the owners of our media houses, they need to wake up. They need to allow the professionals to fly with all wings. They need to allow us to rev in with all our cylinders. Let us break the barriers. You hear somebody to say, I don't want to mention them. Often, I watch some interview, and the guy that is being interviewed, he comes up with an answer to your question. He said, no, you don't say that, you don't say that. For crying out loud, who are you protecting? Where is the place of the feedback? The feedback mechanism in the message channel. In the message channel, you have the message, you have the channel, you have the receiver, and you have the feedback mechanism. It's for the man you are referring to call you after the program and say, I wish to speak and defend myself. You, the interviewer, can't be defending a man that is not here. The code of conduct, the NBC code of conduct, is very, very clear. I've had instances where myself and the TV station dragged ourselves before the NBC. The rules are there.
Could it be because most of these media houses in recent time, especially the private media, are being owned by politicians?
Yes, I was just going to say that. But again, it didn't just start so. CNN, Ted Turner, when he started Ted Turner during the Gulf War, 1988, 87, 99, who were the first set of trainees. They used to call CNN the chicken noodle television because they said we'll read news for 24 hours. They said it was impossible. Ted Turner wasn't a politician, but he was a chronic supporter of the Democratic Party. Why am I saying this? If you look at the origin of journalism, especially in Nigeria, there's what we call the philosophy of the ownership of a media house. There is no, we are all political animals, as they would say. We must have our obligation to ensure the society is right. And the only channel through which you can make society right is politics and governance. So if you look at the origin of the Nigerian press from the days of Iwe Roy was the first newspaper. Reverend Townsend of the Anglican Communion set up Iwe Roy to propagate information to the Anglicans in Egbaland. He had a self-interest before setting up the first newspaper. Then we went on to, the 1920 Daily Times and others, and, the Tribune, the West African Pilot, and whatever. How Zik was chased away from the Cape Coast because it became too political, involved in Ghana, in Ghana's administration and politics before he ran here because he was tried in absentia for sedition. So I would want to say, we as the owner of newspapers and the owners of TV station, whatever, we always have a reason, it's either economic reason or political reason. But the truth is that you must be able to let your paper, your TV station run, independent of you. You must be prepared to pay there's a price. Sometimes it's capital price. You pay the capital price for starting a radio station, a TV station, or a newspaper station, or a newspaper house. So you must allow the professionals to come in there and run it. And you must be silent on your political interest. So it's a very difficult
thing to manage.
There's a thin line. Have you asked yourself why, if there's anytime there's a coup, the first interest, the coup planners, their first interest is to shut down the TV station, TV radio station. They go ahead to seize a radio station through which they will, because the TV, the radio is the most expedient means to reach the larger number of society.
Okay.
So when you go ahead to procure a license for TV and radio, you must know at the same time that it's like a man that is, you have put your neck, as they will say, in the proverbial Egyptian guillotine. You can be chopped off anytime. Yeah.
All right, now, we were still all fighting for press freedom, which we should have outgrown by now. But even America, who is so keen on freedom for the press, and they are so up there when it comes to democracies, even having some of these challenges. I'm so afraid of what Nigeria press will be in another 10 years. Because we already see these things playing out in Nigeria. We have media houses being banned from government houses. We have press conferences that take place in the White House and in Aso Rock, and journalists are told not to cover. Then when they come back, they just say, we had a meeting and give a few interviews and that's it. And everybody comes out to broadcast it. Okay, now, talking about television now. Television, yes, has evolved and it's easy to access now. We're all trying to go digital, even though it's been over 4 years. We're trying to move totally to digital television in Nigeria, and it seemed not to be working. Well, it's believed that the internet is going to come and take over television. A time is going to come where you wouldn't even have to put your television in your homes. You just have your tablets or your phones and you're good to go. Do you think television is going to go extinct?
Like every other thing, technology, Nigeria, for obvious reason, will have continued to lag behind. Basically, energy, the energy content of broadcasting and communication generally. I don't believe that the internet is a challenge to our communication web in this country.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. First, the level of literacy in Nigeria is still very abysmal. Two, the proportion of the rural Nigeria and urban Nigeria is still very, very abysmal. Then three, the economic strength, the access to disposable funds by the so-called ordinary Nigerian is still very, very poor. Technology is not cheap.
True.
An Android phone today, I don't sell phones, but I'm sure an Android phone that will provide you the means to be able to access the internet.
At good speed.
At good speed, again, that's a different thing, because the speed may not actually do with the Android phone. It may have to do with the data, with the data provider and whatever. We leave the Akara woman 20,000 naira short in a pocket, or 15,000. Any phone below that is just for you to make your calls and send SMS. So for that, I think that will go back to the digital revolution that we've tried the past 4 years when the minister launched it. I laughed and whatever. The internet is not a challenge to even the analog television in Nigeria. No, no, no. The analog, I am one person that I've written a column before that the analog TV, analog broadcasting should please go side by side with the so-called digital TV. Take your video call on WhatsApp or video call on Messenger. Do you make sense out of it? See that the picture is breaking?
Yeah,
or the
so
voice
it's freezing.
is breaking. So for us to be running a rat race with the rest of the world as Nigerians, with South Africa, not even with Ghana here, I think it's just the same way we pay lip service. If you ask me, the digital revolution has nothing to do with our TV to show whether we are doing well as TV stations or radio stations. I think we should dwell more on content. Our content is still very, very, very low. Are you able to stay in front of one TV station and you are spellbound for 40 minutes without reaching out to your remote to search which channel will provide?
Maybe cable.
A potpourri of where you want to, like, you are hooked on it, you want to learn, you want to be entertained. Of course, TV is for information, entertainment, and information. Do you get that? But often you just, TV is boring. All you say is the craze about African magic now. And I mean, when you watch one movie to the other movie, the same storyline. The woman came, called the husband with the house help, or with the sister, or with this, and they are kissing or whatever, and the film ends. Or they are shooting, they are robbing, whatever. What happened to content? NBC that ought to be on the driver's seat pursuing this. We are not. If you ask me to answer your question, I don't consider
the internet
digitalization as our major head. It is fine for clarity of pictures, everything.
Yeah.
But the content and the backbone for the broadcasting industry, which is energy. I'm sure I knew when ITV started, the big, huge generating sets are still there. I'm sure every 3 years you have to look for money to borrow
and buy new
replace them.
Yeah.
You don't have energy for 12 hours of the day. We are talking of digital, to change your transmitters to digital and whatever. What kind of, if the NBC, if the Association of TV Owners or whatever were to be Americans or the South African, whatever, they will come together and stop the Federal Ministry of Information or whichever agency that is in charge to say, we can't digitalize until you provide the backbone for us, which is power, majorly, for us to go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll hold you there. The program, of course, is still Flipside, and we're talking about World Television Day. There's still so much to talk about. I mean, 2019 is just around the corner, and we have a big program coming up, which is the elections, and television does have a role to play in that. But we'll go on a break, and we'll come back, we'll address that issue. All right, the program, of course, is still Flipside, and you're just joining us. If you're just joining us, sorry, you've missed a lot, but you're in luck. You know, we have a repeat broadcast on GoTV, channel 107, and StarTimes, channel 130. And, of course, by tomorrow, you can actually watch this program on YouTube. So whatever parts you've missed out from, you can get yourself updated. We're talking to World Television Day, and I have Omorojo in the house, a veteran journalist, and he's been into journalism since 1987. So we're talking this. Before we went on the break, I talked about the upcoming elections, and I just want to know how the role of media for the success of this whole electioneering process.
Tough one. Tough one. Astonishingly, the media, especially TV, you know, even in the developed world, they play about 60% role in the actualization of a free, fair, and acceptable electoral results. From the indices and from previous election, with the recent by-elections, with the governorship election, Ekiti, Oshun, Ondo, I don't think 2019 will be better. 2 months, we are heading to December, January, February 15th, or thereabout, we'll kickstart the first election. 3 months is too short for practitioners in the TV and radio to reorientate themselves, to hone the technical skill, and to be able to imbibe the courageous spirit to defend Nigeria's democracy. Very sad. And because of the failure of the regular TV stations, the internet, the online platforms, and the bloggers, they've come and they have crept into the psyche of Nigerians in such a way that at every election day, people, because of the failure or the refusal of the normal TV stations to provide services on that day, people go on the net and they are fed with results that sometimes are true, but INEC later will deny them. And the laws are very clear. There's supposed to be a central point, a collation board, where results are rolling. We all see it in America, we see it in neighboring countries, we see it in Africa. There is no way to say INEC wants to announce results at a time. There is an abeyance. Everything dies on. So everybody go. We'll come back tomorrow and resume counting and collation by 10 o'clock. Jesus Christ. Where are we from? Where? If you are taking your break, what you collected is rolling. And what happened? They switch off the lights. Where they are addressing the media. The media, the TV stations, they ask them to please go out, we want to rest. And they leave. So if the press council failed to protest, failed to protect the political parties, failed to protect the electorate in the short past, I don't think anything will happen that will be so surgical and miraculous in the next 2 months. Because the TV stations, they have failed to defend their rights. Like what the CNN did to the stubborn Trump in America. And so Nigerians may still have to rely on bloggers, on online platforms for them to get results, whether fake or genuine. Okay. But what are we expecting the TV stations to do, just in case owners of the TV stations wants to make amend and take the risk? Broadcasting, journalism is risk. It's a maximum risk. He's not a wealth creator. If you own TV station, you are like a politician. The politicians we knew before, we are not wealthy. It's only now you find out that a commissioner becomes so wealthy that he can drive a car of about 7 million on the road. Salary of the commissioner for a whole year is less than 6 million naira. As commissioner, I was earning less than 500,000. You can ask anybody. So when you are the owner of a TV station, when you are paying staff, you are buying diesel, your transmitter is down, your clerk lights are off, the money is not your own. You keep on keeping it. It's a social service. So if you provide a social service, you must know that it's a sacrifice, a service to the populace. So we must engage our field reporters for the coming election to say you have a right not to leave the hall when the returning officer says we are taking a break. You ought to be there. Don't put on your camera. So every movement there, you have it. So except we do that as we are coming in, as we are getting closer to February next year for the elections, we may just be hoping against hope.
Maybe media houses will got to do the things that Jaffa is doing in the north, where maybe we'll begin to have little cameras that look like barriers that will just be put everywhere.
Like the guy you used to bring those judges down in
Yeah,
Ghana? Yeah,
so you just put everything down there, and when they think they're all alone, the videos are still rolling and all of that. So maybe we need to advance to that point.
I agree with you, and yeah, it's true. And I want you to put this one up. You know, you have just brought, because since we have learned here, our public officers, our head of institutions have made up their mind here to say the institutions that they head, they don't want them to work. I think the reporters, the broadcasters, we need to develop our inherent values, our inherent tricks as well, so that we can catch these guys on their tricks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, still talking on television. The positive impacts of television and the negative impacts of television. Let's read which one is greater.
Which one is that? Take it again.
The negative effects of television and the positive effects. We have a lot of parents complaining about content, what their kids see on television. Even married couples complain, my husband, what he sees at night on television and all of that. But we also have the part where television educates and enlightens and gives information. So if we're going to weigh the negative and the positive effects of television on our lives daily, which would you say is greater?
You know,
presently.
You know, when I started this discussion, I hit so much on content. If I'm given the job, and let me just announce it, the job I would love to do after serving at the highest level in the state as a member of the State Executive Council is to be the watchdog of the media. Maybe as the head of the NBC. We are becoming lazy in terms of content development. Becoming very lazy. I don't want to, because of competition, I won't mention a TV station. There was a time we had one TV station in this country. You know when kids will sit down, because the program is coming up at 6. We know Tales by Moonlight.
Yeah.
And we know at 9 o'clock the news is coming. And we know from 10 o'clock the strong discussions all come on. That's when the men will sit down by that TV station. But these days, turn on your telly at 12 midnight. Of course, you know that kids don't sleep these days.
Yeah, they don't.
Because of the madness. And you find one TV station will slot in African Magic, Nollywood movie, and they are kissing. And the baby and the child is 3 years. They wake up to go to school, especially we that stay in Lagos, at 4 o'clock. And your TV is on downstairs. Your child is still bending backward, watching telly. They are still kissing. Somewhere, or there is a musical video where you see the back, one tiny rope.
I saw your video complaining about science student.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the video that actually, I think that was the beginning of the ban of that song.
You know, so you look at this, if I am to head NBC, I won't bother myself about digitalization, whatever. The content level of our TV is so abysmal now, is so poor, that I ask myself, where did we borrow this from?
Now, whose fault is this? Is it a fault of the television station that we are not the content producers? Is it our fault, or the producer's fault, or the parents who are not doing their jobs to ensure that their kids are in bed? Okay,
fine. Everybody, we all have our complaint. First and foremost, the NBC, they failed in their role to monitor. Don't forget freedom. Freedom is given by God, but freedom is restrained by the society. Law was brought up so that we don't have a lawless society. Even if we allow everybody to just go ahead or hinder freedom, I can just grab somebody and cut off the person's neck in the worst case scenario, and nobody will ask me. So law is made to regulate our activism, our thinking, so that we don't go overboard. So NBC, for me, I've said it, they fail totally. They are not monitoring. Then 2, the TV station, if you go, I'm in the process of procuring a radio license. The forms are very, very distinct. The requirements are very stringent. So they are there. They are written out in white and black on what makes up your content. the owners of TV station, like the average Nigerian, they have gone ahead to quickly ensure that they are able to fill up their programming without investing in programming. Programming itself is not just buying a DVD at King Square and you slot it in for your musicals. Therefore, parents, I agree with you, the parents too have become somehow last, and of course, you can't blame them too much. The society has become so eccentric. The society has become so burdensome that they have different things that is weighing them down. That an average Nigerian now, who is a parent, well-to-do, seal child care and upbringing of the kids as the work of a nanny. But when we were parenting, I don't have, I've stopped that business over 18 years ago. But when we were doing it, it was big business for us. School run, making sure your child, sometimes in Lagos, we stop work at 2 o'clock. By the time you get home, it's around 4. Have you done your homework? 6. Let me tell you how bad it is. In my home in Lagos, sometimes DSTV subscription in the living room is not renewed for 6 months. We all have adults at home. They grow up not to see TV as companion. These days, you see mothers will say, pay subscription for TV. They want to watch Disney. They want to watch Nickelodeon. They want to watch, forgetting that those cartoons were created not according to our cultural norms. Jesus Christ. And they tell you, if a child is crying, they say, put cartoon for him or her. That's where they pay their kids. So the parents have their own, because they believe a child shouldn't cry. When a child cries, instead of saying, sit down there, raise up your hand, or sit down there, what do you want, or whatever, is you pay the child with the kid. And you are not dead. If I saw even so bad, they drop the remote. I remember when the digital television, the most popular one, I don't want to mention name again because we are not advertising them. It used to be parental control. I don't know whether they still, because their decoders have become so tiny now.
No, now you can still put parental control, but fine. The kids are also evolving.
The kids are
learning to hack all these things.
They hack all these things.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that I think we all have the share of our blame.
Of the blame.
We all have it.
Okay.
The grandparents like us and others and whatever. So we all, the young families, we all have our blame. We don't have time again. We are pursuing money. Pursuing money unending, because we never think that we have enough. So we don't have time again to ensure that. Don't forget what the Bible said. What enters a man makes a man.
Okay. All right, we'll go on another break. It's almost time for us to end the show today. But he did say something about culture. I really wanted to talk about that. I mean, it seemed like we are adopting the things we see on television and the lifestyle of the Western world so much we've forgotten how to live as Africans. But anyway, we'll go on this break quickly. When we come back, if we have the time, we'll address that. But if we don't, we'll have to go. All right, so much celebrations coming up real soon, but I will just be ending the show right now. So I would allow my guest, Omojo, to have his last words on World Television Day today, so that we can go.
Okay, today is World Television Day, and as we march towards 2019 to enthrone another set of political leaders, I want to encourage ourselves, the broadcasters, the media men and women, the pressmen, that the Constitution has placed a very, very onerous assignment on us. We must be truthful, we must be factual, we must question our leaders, we must ensure that the results counts come February 2019.
All right, thank you so much for being a guest on our show today. All right, I'm going to say Happy World Television Day to myself and all my colleagues out there. It's our day, so let's do something to mark it. Let's celebrate. We have our work cut out for us already, so we're going to try as much as we can to deliver. We have a very big service to give to the society, and we do not have any intention to fail. I'm right? Okay, so thank you so much for being with us on the show. You can get the videos on YouTube from tomorrow, and you can also get the rebroadcast on GoTV channel 107 and Star Times channel 130. I'm Daisy Simon. Have yourself a splendid rest part of the day.